to Seasburger since he beat Alabama, and what does that say about just how good, even great teams, how good you got to be week to week, to get it done?
I have talked to Coach, and pleased for him and all, but he's got a good football team. I think so much of the time everybody wants to put certain teams can't be beat, when in the end, when you're the one in it, we all know that that's not true. That there's other good football teams with good players and guys that are on scholarship that go to practice every day, and quality coaches that you get them at the right time and are very capable of beating you. So I don't. Anyway, so that's very true, and it's true every week.
Coach, the offensive line seems to consolidate into a set rotation. Are they coming around like you had envisioned for them to do?
Yes, the offensive line continues to make improvement, be more consistent, and play to a stronger level, and it needs to still keep happening. We're not where we need to be yet, but they're working that way and are making good improvement.
Can you talk about the recruiting process and how a guy like Aaron Colvin, who injures his thumb and loses half of his junior year, is not really recruited very highly? Even you guys, when you got in, it was like, wow, look at this guy, let's go. You had to see him with your eyes before, because he lost half of his junior year.
Well, we have to see everybody with our eyes before we're offering. But in the end, we've always, from day one, we're excited about Aaron and the athlete he was, how he played, and he's got size, a great attitude, toughness. He's everything you want, and then skill levels, excellent too. So it's like I said, we knew what we felt all along. He was pretty special, and he is.
At what point did you identify that, though? After
I don't remember. Just somewhere there in his junior year.
Bob, doesn't camp play a big role in that? Or?
Well, camp always helps. But we're watching him ahead of that too.
Coach, what will be your running back rotation as the freshman going to play?
Yes, we anticipate Roy, playing. And he practiced well yesterday, so we'll see. That's always something that's kind of fluid and see how the game's going.
How's Austin Box come along?
Better and better. He practiced yesterday. Like I said, all those guys practiced, and it's just, and his back's feeling good. So I think as much as anything, it's just knocking the rust off. When you haven't played, it's getting. The eyes where they need to be, get quickness back, and change the direction. You just got to continue to do it and work the feet to get the reaction time back.
Let me ask you a what-if question. What if you struggle with placements the rest of the year? Would you bring in another kicker next year?
Anything's possible. So we're. It's always a possibility.
Is it hard to? You say when you recruit somebody, you can tell, whether they're good. Is it tougher to evaluate kickers?
Obviously, for us, it is. It's so it's, and then what you can't gauge is when a guy gets out here and everything's happening with TV and 85,000 people and whatever wind conditions, this, that, and the other thing. How they handle it all. So. We're going to continue to work with these guys, but we're always, continuing to look too. What other possibilities are there?
Why did you become kicking coach?
What's that?
Why did you become kicking coach?
I didn't know I was.
Don't you handle coaching?
Well, of course, I talk to him the most and am around him the most and all, but in the end, I'm no kicking coach.
Are they a different breed of cat kickers?
Pardon me?
Are they a different breed of cat?
I don't think that's fair to say. They're all good kids, and just because they're, what, their routine is a little bit different. They don't have as much strength training, or they're not, because their body structures, what they're asked to do, are just different than what we ask a D lineman, DB, other people to do. But they still work hard, and they're good quality young guys, and that are working hard.
Most schools, maybe all schools, don't have a kicking coach. Should you have a kicking coach?
Well, again, I don't. I'm not sure.
Have you thought about it? You thought about hiring either a GA or a full-time guy?
No, not really, because there's a lot of there's a lot of detail in what you do give them that you can watch, and even though you're not a kicking coach, you can tell, foot placement, follow through certain things and where they're hitting the ball. And you know what? Those guys can tell you, just like when I go to the driving range, I can tell when I slice across the ball by where the ball goes, or when I hook it, or when I do. And they'll tell you right after they hit the ball what was wrong. But they're the ones that still have to. It's not like they don't know what was wrong. They have to practice and get in a routine to be able to hit it, the right way all the time.
Anybody want to be your kicking coach? You have anybody apply?
Sure, Uva asks me all the time. And
Wouldn't you do better at the driving range if you had a guy standing there telling you exactly what you're doing,
the
wrong,
charming.
where your elbow's going, and what your feet are doing? And
not me. He'd tell me all he wants. I still have to do it. So. Yeah.
Let's talk about the importance in the Texas game that they tried to take Ryan Bulls away with bracket coverage, that Steele and Miller and some of those other guys stepped up, and Landry made his reads and hit those guys.
Well, it's one in this game, in football, it's the ultimate team sport. One guy isn't gonna be the one to. It's incredibly difficult to dominate a game. One guy, it's you have to have other guys step up, and I'm been incredibly pleased in the last several games, not just the Texas game, how our other receivers are stepping up and competing and playing well and making clutch plays when we have to have them, and gives you confidence going forward. It's going to continue to happen and happen more, and virtually all of them are doing it. So it opens up the field more for Landry and everybody.
Why do so many coaches struggle with clock management at the end of the game? Last night with the Jets, we saw it. The Jets screwed it up at the end of the game. We see it. Les Miles does it every week. And Mack almost lost the Big 12 title game because he was screwing around at the end of the game.
Well, because sometimes there's always in the end, if it's always maybe he didn't expect Colt to hold on to the ball as long. There's always a reason. I mean, no one's doing because you can't foresee what exactly is going to happen on the play. So all of it a lot of times is a chance. There's always a chance it goes the other way. So in the end, because everyone after the fact knew what was going to happen, when they really didn't know. When it was time to make the decision, it's writing about it and sitting at home and talking about it after the game, it's always easy to say they should have done something different if it didn't work. But if it does work, then in the end you're in that situation where you've got to make the call ahead of time, and it's not always the easiest thing to do.
Is it hard to see the big picture and the little picture simultaneously? Because I think fans watching at home who can see a clock on the screen, they know it in real time what has to happen. But if you're down there on the sideline, you're so invested in every play, is it difficult to then see everything as well as I don't know. I'd like to think not. I think you still have to have the whole scope of what needs to happen in your mind, and that's what everyone's trying to do.
How's Bryce making it?
Oh, just little bit of everything, coming off the ball, squeezing when play goes away, just being where he needs to be.
Will he start this week?
I don't know that yet. I think I'll have to check with Coach Wright.
You mentioned Roy's going to play Saturday. Physically and mentally, has he progressed back to maybe close to where he was before he got hurt?
Yeah, I believe so. We only had one practice with him, so I can't really determine that yet. But I know Coach Gundy will be paying attention to that as we go through the week and see where he's at.
What's usually the hardest thing to pick back up on after missing that much time on the field?
Just reaction time. How fast the game is played and getting your footwork and quickness back to that speed. It's something that repetitively you're constantly doing. And then you're not doing it for a while. It takes you a little bit of time to get that twitch back of being able to react and move at the same pace.
Every game is the biggest game of the season, I think most coaches would say. Can you put anything more into this game coming off the off week? It's the second half of the season. All your options remain available to you. is this a pretty good indication of what, the whole next 6 weeks might look like?
Well, it's one game, but all of those things are true, what you just said, and we, we have a chance to continue to be a good, solid and team. We've got to make improvement. We've got to keep playing at a better level, and that's what our challenge is this week.